Namaskar. A highly esteemed scholar, Sriman Nityananda Mishra, who is widely admired for his profound knowledge of Sanskrit and his literary contributions towards the Sanskrit literature. His dedication to upholding the tradition and culture is commendable. And being said that, recently we engaged in viewing one of Sriman Mishra's instructional video, wherein he expounded upon the semantic nuances of the term Deva in Sanskrit. So he explained its distinction from the concept or the word demigod, and this discourse proved intellectually stimulating. It was definitely very inspiring. However, the discourse took a regrettable turn when some disparaging remarks began to pour in, especially in the comment box, particularly targeting Swami Prabhupada of ISKCON, who frequently employs the word demigod in his writings. So this occurrence was disheartening for us, obviously, given our reliance on the publications of BBT associated with Swami Prabhupada for our educational purposes, such as our Bhagavad Gita courses. We thoroughly refer his works. So definitely it was a little disturbing for us. The descent of discourse into bitter exchanges, particularly within the comment box, this is setting a bad precedence for us, and our commitment to fostering the culture of mutual learning and respectful dialogue remains paramount. So, but the people commenting generally would subscribe to that idea. So, though maintaining decorum and civility even amidst the dissenting viewpoints, we can collectively cultivate an environment which is conducive to the continual growth and enlightenment. So this is very important. Although we greatly admire and appreciate Sriman Nityananda Mishra, but we decided to give our thoughts into this matter and the entire discussion which is going on. So if the points raised by Sriman Mishra are correct, then why BBT translate Deva as demigod, and why this controversy and all this has happened? So and given the fact that BBT is not a small publication, it's largest publisher of spiritual books worldwide. So every book is written for a specific purpose, and the goal of Swami Prabhupada was to establish the teachings of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and the parampara to which he belonged. So he preached that all over the world. So when Swami Prabhupada translated Sanskrit literature into English, there were very few translations of Bhagavad Gita available, and there was no translation of Srimad Bhagavad Puran available at that time. So obviously he adopted the new technique of translations, and also which were in line with his philosophical understanding, and also in line with his parampara. So that's very important to understand. And he himself writes in the introduction of Srimad Bhagavatam that I must admit my frailties in presenting Srimad Bhagavatam, but still I am hopeful of its good reception by the thinkers and leaders of society on the strength of following statement of Srimad Bhagavatam. And he quotes a verse 1.5.11 from Srimad Bhagavatam, which says Tadvaga visargo jantaga viplavo yasmin pratishlokam avattavatyapi namananantasya yashonkitani yat shranvanti gayanti grunanti sadhavah. So the translation goes like this. On the other hand, that literature which is full of descriptions of the transcendental glories of the name, fame, form and pastimes of unlimited Supreme Lord is transcendental creation meant for beginning about the revolution of the impious life of a misdirected civilization. Such transcendental literature, even though irregularly composed, is heard, sung and accepted by purified men who are thoroughly honest. So Swami Prabhupada made it very clear that at several places that this is his viewpoint. So again, this is very clear in Srimad Bhagavad that literary accuracy is not important. What is important is the message which it is giving, and the message is very clear. So Swami Prabhupada made it clear at several places that he is not writing book for academic excellence. That was not his target. So for this very reason, you will find a lot of places Swami Prabhupada giving non-standard, non-literal translations, which people otherwise would not use in other translations which were present those days. So few examples of this are, take an example, he translates bhakti as devotional service. So the real meaning of bhakti is selfless service in fact, but some people do not accept this and would argue that this is not the literal meaning of bhakti as per the dictionary. Obviously dictionary will give different meanings of bhakti, so some would say ritual and some would say some sentiment, a lot of meanings would be given, but more important is to convey the message of the original author Vedavyas. So when Vedavyas uses bhakti, then what it means, so that's important, right? One more example is in Bhagavad Gita 2.39. Esha te bhita sankhye buddhi yoge tvima shunu buddhya yukto ye apartha karma bandham prahasyasi. So in this word again the word buddhi comes, and if you see the Swami Prabhupada's translation, it goes like this: thus far I have described this knowledge to you through analytical study. Now listen as I explain in terms of working without fruitive results. O son of Partha, when you act in such knowledge, you can free yourself from bondage of works. So here he is translating bhakti as working without fruitive result, which is also known as Nishkam Karma Yoga. And again at several places he also says that Nishkam Karma Yoga is Bhakti Yoga, and also Krishna also says this thing. There is one more verse in the next verse in this series: Bhoga Ishwarya Prasaktanam Taya Aprita Chetasam Vyavasayatmika Buddhi Samadhauna Vidhiyate. So again the BBT translation of this verse goes like this: in the minds of those who are too attached to sense enjoyment and material opulence, and who are bewildered by such things, the resolute determination for devotional service to Supreme Lord doesn't take place. Again, Vyavasayatmika Buddhi Samadhauna Vidhi. So here he translates Buddhi to devotional service. Devotional service again is reverse translated to Bhakti. That's what he interchangeably uses the word devotional service for Bhakti. So he interchangeably uses the word devotional service and Bhakti. So again here he is saying Buddhi as Bhakti. So that again becomes problem for some people. And then again, this is important for us to understand why the author uses this. The author has a viewpoint here, and it is very important. But this viewpoint is not his personal opinion. In fact, Krishna himself makes this clear in the 10th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, and the verse goes like this: Tesha satata yuktanam bhajatam priti purvakam dadami buddhi yogam tam yena mamupayantite yena mamupayantite. So here Krishna says that buddhi, he gives buddhi, and that buddhi is engaged in the service of Krishna that way. So Krishna is himself explaining here and several other places in Bhagavad Gita that engaging mind and intelligence into him is bhakti in fact. So that's why buddhi or mind and intelligence, when it is engaged in the service of Krishna, that is bhakti. That's what roughly it means. So like Krishna says man manava mad bhakto madhyaji mam namaskul and so on. So similarly, the word Deva, which is translated as demigod, might not be literally correct, but the clear differentiation between Vishnu and other Devatas needed to be highlighted very clearly. And this is on the background that Swami Prabhupada is coming from a Vaishnava background, and he wanted to leave no room for confusion. In fact, he was preaching Vaishnava philosophy. He was preaching the teachings of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So he was not talking about the eclecticism in the name of Hinduism which is going on, so everybody can give their own thoughts, which is okay, but he belonged to a tradition and he was preaching just that. He was not like preaching everything that is available. He was not that kind of a person. He was not a school or university in fact. So it is not uncommon in traditional Sanatan culture. If you see the history of acharyas and saints, they would preach in this manner. Definitely they would preach the philosophy in a way. They would preach things in a fashion which helps the receiver to make spiritual progress. So several other Vaishnava traditions who have this explicit differentiation, this is known as Vishnu Paratattva. So the usage of demigod is to show that the Deva is not at the same platform as Bhagwan Vishnu. So every Vaishnava tradition has this understanding that Bhagwan Vishnu is at one level and all others are his servants. So the demigods, is semi-god or demigod, is very obvious choice here, because obviously as it is also said in Shastras, Shastra Drudha Baliyasi. So if we consider the Sahitya Darpan or even ancient Sanskrit literature books, we understand this, that the words have three kinds of expressive capacities. So they are known as Shabda Vrittis. Again, this are different ways a word refers to its meaning. So distinguished as Mukhya Vritti, Lakshana Vritti and Guna Vritti. So the Shabda Vritti termed Mukhya is the primary, and then again literal meaning of the word. So this is known as abhidha. So the word direct the institutional meaning or the direct literal meaning, dictionary meaning of the word, and a word's denotation or dictionary meaning is again that's what the Mukhya Vritti is all about. So it's further divided into subcategories. So there are two main subcategories which is very popular, Rudhi and Yoga. So these are the two primary sources of the meaning of any word. So a primary meaning is called Rudhi when it comes from grammatical understanding. Then it becomes Yoga Artha. So again that going by this meaning by regular rules, this can be understood by a very clear example if we take. So like we call our smartphone as mobile. Literally the mobile means anything that is in motion. Okay, so if we go by literal sense, it is not the best word, but since it's become so popular that everybody interchangeably uses, or everybody uses the word mobile only for a smartphone. So that's called Rudhi. So that's very common, deep rooted in the society. So again, the demigod is used very commonly for devatas in BBT books, and reason we already discussed. So it might not be dictionary meaning, or it might not be literally very accurate, but it conveys the message very well that the devatas are always subordinate to Vishnu. So that's what the Vaishnava understanding is, and that was Swami Prabhupada ji was preaching. So this is not found in the tradition is in one tradition, but even all Vaishnava tradition, if we talk about, they have this understanding. So that's what. And again, coming back to the video discourse, Sri Nityananda Mishra ji mentioned that there were no citations for the quote that Devas are devotees of Vishnu. Actually, there are several. Obviously, he also must be knowing. So Vedas, Purana, Samhita, every literature talks about Vishnu Paratattva. So take an example from Padma Purana if we see. So there is a verse, Dvo bhuto sargo loke smin deva sura evacha Vishnu bhakta smrito deva asura tat viparyaya. So the Vishnu devotees of Vishnu are devas. One other example Sriman Mishra ji gave was Upendra. So now literal sense of Upendra could be okay, semi-Indra, subordinate to Indra. But the fact here is that Upendra is the master of Indra. He's Vishnu himself, right? So Krishna also says this in Bhagavad Gita, that Adityanam Aham Vishnu. So when he says Adityanam Aham Vishnu, he is referring to Bhagwan Trivikrama or Upendra. So here it's very clear. So everything cannot be taken literally. Obviously, the translations they do have their role, but the meaning is conveyed, when it is conveyed in its true sense, makes more sense. So translate, sometimes Swami Prabhupada ji also translates Bhagwan to God and Dharma to religion. He doesn't do it directly. He translates Bhagwan to Supreme Personality of Godhead, and also he says Dharma as occupational duty and so on. So it is clear that his intent is different. So it's not always about accurately matching what dictionary says, but the purport need to be very clearly conveyed. So Swami Prabhupada ji is very clear about his purpose, and he is not an academician, professor like that, writing books to prove his superiority. He is obviously not interested in that. He is a devotee trying to follow what Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita. So as Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita 18 chapter, na cha tasmad manusheshu kashin me priyakrittamah bhavita na cha me tasmad anya priyataro bhuvi. So Krishna is saying that nobody is dear to me than one who preaches my message. And obviously preaching his message means his intent, what he means in Bhagavad Gita, and not like going behind the literary accuracy. Obviously he tries to be literally accurate as much as possible, but the meaning should not be distorted. That is the main important thing. And as it is said in Bhagavad Gita, the goal should be very clear. So in Srimad Bhagavad Purana also it is said, Dharma swanushyatam punsa vishvaksena katha suya no utpadyadyadirati shrama eva hi kevalam. So if we measure success of Bhagavad Gita translation by seeing the positive change in the society which it created, then that's immense, right? If we see the accomplishments of ISKCON society, we can clearly understand that the goal of writings is achieved. So if you see in which other tradition, you'll find thousands of devotees wearing dhoti, kurta, dwadash tilak and coming to temple at 4:30 am daily. So one time we went to ISKCON headquarters at Mayapur, and what we observed there, is people were coming to temple 4:30 wearing all traditional Indian dress. Even people from every country were like, we have seen people from more than like 10-15 countries coming to. So that's what the goal was, and it was established. So that's the very important thing. And again, the word demigod is not to defame any devatas, but just to indicate that the devatas are subordinate to Vishnu. So that's what is the philosophical understanding of the parampara or the sampradaya which Swami Prabhupada ji belong. So obviously he will teach it in this way, so which is very natural for him. And I mean, Sriman Mishra ji is also very understanding. He understands things. He's very good in his literary works, and also he's very accurate. He doesn't say anything randomly. He does a lot of research. He has a lot of understanding. But the people in general who are making this kind of comments there, they might not be as learned. They're very like they would just comment anything and then go away. So, but it doesn't help anybody. That's the primary point we wanted to make here. So it takes a lot of effort in understanding a viewpoint, a philosophy. And sometimes people don't even read the books. They will just go and they'll just go by the cover. So as it is said, don't judge a book by its cover. So people generally say, okay, this book written by this person has this kind of a philosophy, this word is used, so I have heard somewhere in a video that this is there, so I won't read this kind of books. So this again won't be very fair. So that's what we wanted to convey in this video. So hope you like this. Thank you very much for being with us, and consider subscribing our channel if you want to have such engaging content. So thank you.